Hello everybody, I am Johnny P, aka the Chord Basher, and this is day one of beginner acoustic guitar. These tutorials, these lessons are designed for sort of entry-level guitarists who may know a little bit about the guitar, who've played a few chords but really want to extend on their skills and learn the right technique. So this is sort of entry level. If you are a guitarist and you've seen some of my videos before, or you've seen some of my song tutorials and you want to learn a few extra things, this may not be the best video for you. You might want to flick through the description below and find out areas of the video that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to cover the bare basics to start with. So remember, this is the first video, and it's a video that I would sort of make, or a lesson that I would give if you were coming to me for private lessons for the first time. So maybe you haven't even picked up the guitar, you might be giving it for a Christmas present or had it off Father Christmas as a Christmas present, who knows. So this is day one of beginner guitar. Before we do anything, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and that you follow us, because we do loads of song tutorials, we do loads of beginner guitar, loads of electric guitar, and there's so much more coming out very soon. So first of all, let's dive in and take a look at this first guitar lesson. Well, we are going to start with introducing you to your guitar, and it's an acoustic guitar. This is an acoustic guitar. This is actually a Gibson. It's quite an expensive Gibson. However, you may have a more expensive guitar, or you may have a £50 or $50 guitar, whatever it may be. It really doesn't matter at this stage. So there's a couple of key things to point out. Obviously, we've got the body of the guitar. We've got our sound hole, which is where the sound comes out of. We've got our bridge here, which is where the strings sort of attach to at the bottom. We have got our neck, which is this thing here with all the frets on it. We've got our individual frets, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. We've got our head, and then we've got the tuning pegs. So we have 6 of those because we have 6 strings, and you should have 6 strings. If you don't have 6 strings, then you might need to buy some. So first of all, we have got our thickest string, so string number 6 we refer that to. So the 6th string is the thickest string, and the thinnest string is string number 1, and that's an E. These are both E's, and these are octaves. So starting from the 6th string, the thickest string, we've got an E. Then the next one down, we've got an A. Next one after that, we have a D. Next one after that, we have a G. Next one after that, we have a B. And the next one after that, we have an E. Now, your guitar may not sound like that. It may not sound exactly the same, and you might need to tune your guitar. There's a couple of ways you can do this, and if you have a look in the description below, I actually made a video on how you can tune your guitar without a tuner, electronic tuner. You can actually do it by ear. If you have got a tuner, then stick it at the top of your neck, stick it at the top of the head, and tune up your guitar. Make sure that your guitar is in tune, because it's going to sound awful if it's out of tune. So we've got the strings, we know a little bit about the parts of the guitar. Now we need to know actually how to hold the guitar. Now, if you're right-handed, what you want to do is rest this sort of arch on your right leg, right at the top of your body. You want the back of the guitar to be resting on your stomach, so it's nice and tight at the top. You want your right hand to come over the top, and we're going to be sort of resting at the top of our arm, just by our elbow, on this top bit of the guitar, which means that we've got a very nice smooth action, a relaxed action over the sound hole. And you can see I'm holding something like this. It's a pink plectrum. A plectrum is basically easier for you to play the guitar without using your fingers, because obviously if you're using your fingers, you might end up sort of getting blisters and that sort of thing. So the plectrum is really useful for that sort of thing. So let's use our plectrum to start with. So we have our hand over the sound hole. We've got a nice loose action. We've got our left hand supporting the top of the guitar, and remember, the body of the guitar, the back of the guitar, is nice and tight, nice and close to our stomach. And then we're sort of supporting the neck with our left hand. The guitar should sit nicely without your hand there anyway. You want this hand to be nice and loose, because obviously this is where you're going to be playing all your notes and all your chords. So we've got the guitar nice and relaxed. We're not holding it too tight. We're nice and relaxed with that guitar. And we want to make sure that our right hand is nice and relaxed too, so we can get a nice sort of smooth action when we come to strum. So there we go. Hopefully you're nice and in a nice position and you're nice and relaxed with that guitar. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the fretboard. And the fretboard is basically these things here. So if we have a look, we've got all the frets, all these metal things, all these metal lines. They're actually known as frets. So we want to position our fingers in the center of those frets. We do not want to be hitting the metal rim, the metal sort of strip going across, because we get a different sound, and it's not a sound that we want because it's quite a buzzy sound and it's unclear. So if we're hitting right in the center of the fret with our finger, for example, if we're hitting the fret itself, as in the metal bit, it sounds like this. And it's not very clear. So you never want to be hitting putting your fingers over those frets, otherwise you end up with a sort of a muffled sound. So don't worry about that for the time being, just remember these are our different frets. So starting from the top of the neck by the head, we've got fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, fret 5, fret 6, all the way up to the 12th fret. And you should see on the top of your guitar there's 2 dots for the 12th fret, and that's basically the octaves. So these are our frets. So we know the string names: E, B, G, D, A and E. What we want to do now is start looking at a bit of plucking with our plectrum. Let's look at a plucking pattern. Don't worry about where we're going to put the hands at the moment, or our fingers. We're not going to form any chords just yet. We're going to look at a plucking pattern using our plectrum. So we want to hold the plectrum with our thumb and our first finger, like so. And we want to make sure that it's fairly loose, but we're not going to sort of drop it, because we don't want to be dropping the plectrum as we play. What we're going to do is pluck string number 3. Remember, that is our G string. And then straight after, we're going to pluck string number 2. That's our B string. And then straight after that, we're going to pluck string number 4. That's our D string. And then we're going to pluck string number 2 again. And then we're going to repeat that, so. So try and play that, let those strings ring out. Don't worry about muffling the strings or anything, just keep your hand there, but keep those strings ringing out. And try and make that playing fluent. Try and keep it consistent all the way through, making sure that those strings are ringing out. So that's a really simple plucking pattern. It will get you used to plucking those 3 strings. So we've got that. Try and speed it up if you can. If you're struggling, slow it down. It really doesn't matter at this stage. And if you make a mistake like I did there, start again. It really doesn't matter. If you need to look at the strings, you need to get your head over and just check where you're playing, do that. It's not a problem at this stage. You want to just make sure that you're learning where those strings are and keeping it nice and consistent all the way through. And if you can play it like that after picking up the guitar for less than 5 minutes, then you're doing a good job. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at our first chord. And our first chord is going to be an A major. And we're going to do that in the first position. And what do I mean by the first position? Well, the first position is up at the top of the neck here. So let's look at our A major chord. try that again. Okay, so to read your chords and to know where to put your fingers, you'll need to know how to read tab. So, if we're playing an A major chord, which is this chord, I am going to put my first finger on the second fret, fret number 2, of string number 4. So remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, fret number 2, 1, 2, and that's obviously my first finger. I'm going to place it in the centre. I'm going to press from the tip. I'm not going to sort of muffle it like that. I'm going to press on the tip. So that sort of area of your finger, just under the nail, but not too far down. So we can press that in the centre. And then we're going to put our second finger on the third string, so 1, 2, 3, on fret number 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to put our third finger on string number 2, 1, 2, on fret number 2, 1, 2. I'm going to strum all 6 strings. So hopefully that chord is sounding like the chord that I have just played. If it's not, then your guitar might be out of tune, or you might be putting your fingers in the wrong position, or not even playing them hard enough. We're going to strum that chord 4 times, like this. And each time we play it, we're going to make sure that the space in between the next strum is consistent, is the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is an A major. The next chord we're going to play is a D major. Okay, and that requires you to put your first finger on fret number 2, 1, 2, string number 3, 1, 2, 3. Second finger is going on fret number 2, 1, 2, string number 1, 1. Third finger is going on fret number 3, 1, 2, 3, string number 2, 1, 2. And we're going to strum from the 4th string down, that's our D string. And we're going to do it like this with the plectrum. And again, we're going to play it 4 times, and we're going to play that chord consistently 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if it's not sounding like the chord I'm playing, you're playing it slightly wrong, or your guitar is out of tune. If you click the top A string, the 5th string, don't worry about it. So those 2 chords together are A major, are D major, back to A major, D major, A major, D major, A major, D major. And the last chord we're going to look at today is our E major. And our E major is like this. First finger, 1st fret, 3rd string. 1st fret, 3rd string, 1, 2, 3. Second finger, second fret, fifth string. Second fret, 1, 2, fifth string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third finger, second fret, fourth string, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to strum all 6 strings together. Again, make sure we're pressing nice and hard in the centre of that fret, of those frets, I should say. Again, make sure we're pressing nice and hard in the centre of those frets. We're going to play that 4 times. Let's go back to our A major. Play it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then our D major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then our E major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to our A major. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 3 chords there. We've got A major, D major, and E major. Make sure that you're practicing the transition from the A to the D to the E back to the A. Now, because it's only your first lesson, it's your first time at picking up the guitar, perhaps it's going to be quite hard for you to get used to those positions, but the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you will become. You'll also find that your fingers might hurt a little bit after a while. You need to get through that. You'll develop a bit of a hard skin on your finger, which is completely natural, and it helps you play the strings a little bit better, particularly when you're playing steel string guitars. So this is a steel string rather than a nylon string like an acoustic or classical guitar. So let's have a look at these chords and put it in a song. So let's have a look at the Elvis Presley, Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. And into the D, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. Back to the A. Well, you ain't never got a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. They said you were high class, and that was just a lie. They said you were high class, that was just a lie. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. All the way through the song, because it's 12-bar blues, rock and roll, we're going A, D, A, E, back to the D. So it's a longer, sort of you're holding on to the chords longer. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then change. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the E. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2 on the E and 2 on the D. But a hound dog. And I'll tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to speed it up slightly. So we're going to speed up the strumming very slightly. Turn up the tempo. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. They said you were high class, that was just a lie. They said you were high class, but that was just a lie. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. So there you go. First three chords, first song. You should be able to practice that now. Make sure those transitions are nice and fluent. Make sure you're pressing nice and hard on those strings. And then the next lesson, we're going to look at slightly more chords, slightly different chords, and we're going to take it to the next level. So check out the next lesson by clicking the link below. I hope you found it useful, and I shall see you again.